and thank you for tuning into BrandPlus TV. It's always a delight knowing that you've taken your time and are keeping us company. I am Ondiro Ganga, ready to bring you up to speed with all the top stories making headlines today. And as you know, we're all about business. Here's a glance of those stories.
It will, of course, bring those stakeholders together with the Kenyans. It will support, on the quality part, the housing project of the Big Four agenda of Kenya.
CIBEX East Africa 2018. Infrastructure stakeholders converge to create new partnerships with the government as well as international players. Hexacon 2018. Nurses and midwives discuss neonatal health ahead of the Hexacon 2018 conference. Seamless East Africa 2018. Financial technology for the achievement of universal financial inclusion. CIBEX East Africa Conference 2018 kicked off today, bringing together relevant stakeholders with the aim of building partnerships with global players, as well as explore the opportunities the different facets of the Big Four agenda hold for the business community in the private sector. Take a look at that report. The conference brought together key industry players in the construction, infrastructure, building and energy sector. The players have been asked to tap into the raw potential the Big Four agenda presents. An area key to the agenda is affordable housing. The government on its part has pledged to build at least 500,000 housing units by 2022.
Housing utilizes manufactured products quite a bit. So it affects manufacturing. It means we have to enhance our capacity. Our cement production, our local cement production has to be enhanced, among many others that go into what becomes a housing. Okay, so to me it's a big opportunity for contractors, professionals, architects, engineers, planners, and quantity surveyors. It is now or never to enhance our capacity to be able to absorb all these opportunities that we have in our hands.
In the year 2009, Nairobi County's population stood at 3.3 million people. Fast forward to almost 10 years later, the population has doubled to 6.5 million people. Now, this has put a lot of strain on the housing sector in Nairobi County. This has led to the mushrooming of slums and urban shanties to provide alternative yet cheap source of accommodation to city residents. Now, the government seeks to intervene to provide affordable yet quality housing for the city residents. Under the Big Four agenda, the housing project, the government is seeking to churn out at least 500,000 housing units by the year 2022. Skanda Negasi, CEO Trades and Fairs Consulting, the firm behind the event, says the main aim of the event is to foster partnerships that are of economic benefit between the East African region and the rest of the world.
When it comes to the trade and business, which is the exhibition part of this event, it will, of course, bring those stakeholders together with the Kenyans. It will support, on the quality part, the housing project of the Big Four agenda of Kenya. So our role is to create a market platform for the Kenyan part, to come together with European, with American, and set up plans to support the Big Four agenda of Kenya.
While efforts to bridge the gap between the East African region and the rest of the world are being put in place, countries like Germany have heeded the call and are setting base in Kenya with the interest of partnering with the government in ensuring the attainment of their agenda.
Particularly in housing, there are so many construction and engineering companies in Germany with a big know-how. And I think the first thing will be a know-how transfer, something educational. So we need specialists in Kenya, but they have to come from Kenya. They have to be regional. And these persons has to be educated. And therefore, we have the conference. The conference is a platform for knowledge transfer. And this is the point. If the knowledge arrives in this country, and this is a very fast process, this is not a 10 years process, this is something we can force together with the officials in Kenya and the officials in Germany, and bring them together on these platforms, the format as a showcase or the conferences.
Last year, the conference hosted 52 exhibitors from 13 different nations, and this year, the conference seeks to have an even bigger representation. The conference, in its 5th edition, seeks to place emphasis on the building and energy sector as the country undertakes major infrastructural projects in line with our development blueprint, the Vision 2030 Kenya. The 6th Quadriennial General Meeting and the 13th Scientific Conference of the Hexagon opened its doors to the pre-conference that will welcome the main event on Wednesday at the Safari Park Hotel in Nairobi. The conference, whose theme is Nurses and Midwives Responding to the Global Agenda on Sustainable Development Goals and Universal Health Coverage, will focus mainly on helping babies survive in an effort to minimize neonatal immortality. Our reporter attended the pre-conference and brings us the following report.
The 5-day event will see nurses and midwives from 16 African countries convene at the hotel to discuss matters neonatal health. So if you want to tie. Out of the 130 million infants born each year worldwide, 4 million die in the first 28 days of life.
In Kenya, these neonatal deaths account for 60% of the overall infant mortality. According to a report by UNICEF, this figure places East Africa's biggest economy as a country with the 3rd largest newborn mortality rate in the region.
The conference comes at a time that the government is working towards making universal healthcare a reality. The healthcare sector got an allocation of 44.6 billion shillings as one of the Big Four agenda. A professor in midwifery, Grace Omoni, spoke on building capacity of nurses and midwives as a way of ensuring the HBS program takes off.
It starts from training. So we have different training. We have certificates, which is being phased out in Kenya. But we have diploma training, and we have degree, we have masters, we have PhDs. Every nurse in Kenya is trained as a nurse midwife. And it has gone further that even clinical officers are actually trained in maternal child health.
She also went on to explain the place of Helping Babies Survive initiative to the countries and global development agenda.
It has been around for quite a few years. We are doing the 2nd edition now, meaning we have already trained most of the people, but there were a few things which you will not be able to implement because it was not properly done. So from the feedback, we have looked at what we were given as feedback, and we have tried to revise whatever we were given, and therefore we are making the program better and easier for midwives and nurses and doctors and all those healthcare providers to be able to follow. One of the programs which is supposed to help us to meet our 2030 goals. That is how it is. It is a global program, so that we all have equal health. Our babies have equal health with everybody else in the world, and we hope that the third world can catch up with the developed world countries.
Health is a crucial factor in sustainable development, as it contributes to the national development by providing employment, reducing expenditures on illnesses, as well as promoting good health at all ages. Even as we wait for the official opening of the conference, we are keen on how the government is going to turn the tide on neonatal deaths, even as it seeks to attain universal healthcare in its Big Four agenda. For BrandPlus TV Business News, I am Daisy Wambua.
The face and delivery of financial services is drastically changing, forcing banks, retailers and merchants to rapidly adapt to the new financial landscape. All this is thanks to the fintech innovation. Coming to Nairobi for the fourth time, Seamless East Africa 2018 opened with a pre-conference summit on financial inclusion. Now, our reporter Karari John had a sit-down with one of the event speakers to understand of what importance financial inclusion is to the development agenda and how fintech plays into it.
Now, the future of payment and banking is drastically changing, and this year the Seamless East Africa Summit was held in Nairobi again. Today we are joined by Wachira Moreu from Corpacent, and we'll be dissecting what this summit really means. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It is really a pleasure to be with you today, and thank you so much for allowing us to really talk to you. Now, tell us what Corpacent really does. We understand it's one of the fintech products. What does Corpacent?
Thank you very much. Corpacent is a fintech. We are a digital lender where we provide digital loans to urban professionals. Yes.
Okay. How long have you been in the market, and how has it been for you?
Corpacent has been in operation for 2 years now. Yes, and it's been amazing. It's been quite a journey.
What are the challenges that you have faced as Corpacent so far in the market, knowing that letting technology to the target market before they know about it and before they adapt it, it is quite some process. How has it been for Corpacent?
I think initially our biggest hurdle was gaining trust from our target market, but now with time they've actually accepted and they love our product. They love the convenience.
Now, let us jump to matters pertaining Seamless East Africa Summit that is being held in Nairobi. One or two key issues that emerge from this summit is one is financial inclusion, and number two is fintech. Can you break it down for us kindly?
I think financial inclusion is just making sure that everybody in the ecosystem gets to be included in financial services. That means they can easily get affordable financial services. Yes.
Now, what about fintech? Can you break it down for us?
Fintech basically means finance and technology, where you use technology to deliver financial services to people.
Now, we talked about financial inclusion. How important is financial inclusion to an individual?
I think financial inclusion is important to individuals because it helps improve their standard of living. For instance, if I look at a mamamboga or a farmer upcountry, if they have credit lines, means they can borrow. That means they can grow their business and they can be able to expand their businesses and improve their standard of living. Yeah.
And you have talked about to an individual level. Does it translate the same to the economy?
Looking at the bigger picture, yes, because once we improve the standard of living of the people, that means our GDP as a country is performing better. Yeah. Okay.
Now, for some time, finance has not been accessible, and there have been barriers. And what are these barriers, especially to the traditional mode of doing business?
I think the biggest barrier in the old way of offering financial services has been if you want a financial service, you had to walk into a brick and mortar, which is a building, into a bank. I'm thinking about the people in the remote areas, like my grandmother, who cannot maybe access a bank. So she's out, she's not financially included. Another issue I see when it comes to lending in terms of credit is the documentation required. I feel like banks ask for a lot of documentation, for example, collateral, yeah, title deeds, or probably logbooks. If it's someone who doesn't have this, that means they are not financially included and they're not able to get a facility. So they are locked out.
You are in fintech, and how is fintech coming up and facing these challenges and actually bridging the gap?
I think us as fintechs, we are leveraging technology to be able to provide these financial services to the people. That means it's faster, it's more convenient, and there's just ease in transacting.
Now, you have been in fintech space, and you have many peers, especially in that space. How has been the growth curve so far?
I think the growth curve has been exponentially, truly speaking, in the last 2 years. Kenyans have now are now trusting digital lenders, and most of them love the convenience of just going at the comfort of your home or the comfort of your office, just going to your phone and just logging in and borrowing online.
What are the challenges would you go through as a developer in fintech space in order to ensure that more people are financially included?
I think the biggest problem, the elephant in the room right now, is financial education and financial literacy of the masses. Most people don't have financial education, so they are not able to use this, they're not able to leverage on what we are offering as digital lenders, or most of them, they're being misused because they don't have that education. So I think the biggest problem we have is financial education.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for speaking to us. In this ever-changing world, business and customers continue to change as the market continue to evolve. Financial technology is the way to go by creating financial inclusion. Karari John Wambago for BrandPlus TV.
Now let's shift gears and take a look at the day's market performance, and here is a summary. That is how the markets performed today, but for more in-depth analysis, tune in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for my next big bet with Rachel Nderitu and Karanja Daniel as they carry out an in-depth analysis of the financial markets and other investment opportunities available for you, dear viewer. Well, that's all the time we had tonight on BrandPlus Business News. On behalf of the whole production team that made it a success, thank you very much for watching. Catch a rerun of this bulletin at 10 p.m. My name is Andiro Ganga. Have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.